God damn it. Shit. Guam, 1941. Fighting men of the Japanese Army and Navy will soon set foot on the island. The 144th Infantry Regiment of the Japanese South Seas Detachment will land safely at the undefended Tumon Bay, north of Agana Bay. To the south, 400 men of the 5th Company, 2nd Mysuru SNLF, will storm Duncus Beach, fortified by a company of U.S. Marines stationed on the island. 2 companies of the 144th Infantry Regiment will make their way south to aid the 400 Japanese Marines battling the defenders. The 145 Marines are equipped with machine guns, Browning automatic rifles, and standard-issue bolt-action Springfield rifles. The Japanese Marines and regulars are armed with Type 99 light machine guns and rifles. The Japanese attacked Guam the day after the attack on Pearl Harbor. The U.S. defenders were instructed to destroy everything of military value and withdraw if attacked. However, the U.S. Marines stationed on the island fortified their positions and put up a valiant defense. What we are about to witness is not entirely historically correct. What we are about to witness is a lot bloodier. Hey, what's up guys? DiplexHeated again. Welcome back to Metaphor Assault Squad 2 and welcome to the First Battle of Guam. The year is 1941, it's December 10th, and the Japanese Navy and Army is about to invade the actual island. The aerial assault has been underway now for 2 days. It began on December 8th when the Japanese Air Force began attacking and strafing the island, so to speak, mainly targeting the military facilities. The Marines on the island did pretty well. I think they even managed to shoot down a few of the Japanese aircraft who participated in the attack on the island. But it's time now for the infantry of the Japanese South Seas Detachment and, of course, men of the Japanese Navy's own Special Naval Landing Force to commit to the assault 2 days later, December 10th. And it's going to be a very interesting battle because it's going to be the first time where we get to see Japanese soldiers actually take to the beaches, so to speak, and invade the Americans. We've only really done U.S. Marine Corps landings previously using water buffaloes and such. They really do have a lot of better equipment when it comes to marine assaults, but the Japanese still have their quite capable troop carrier here. It looks kind of like a Higgins boat in a way. I'm not entirely sure what it's called. I know that it begins with a D, Diantsu, Datsu, something like that. And it carries quite a lot of troops. We have 14 boats at our disposal that will make up the roughly 370 to 400 men of the 5th Company, 2nd Mysuru SNLF that participated in the attack. We're going to only be deploying 4 at a time, and that is to save frame rate. I've been down in my low 10s and 20s when deploying all at the same time because it's really heavy on my system, which is, by the way, quite a good one. So we're only doing 4 at a time here, but that should be enough. When the time is right, 2 companies, as I mentioned, of the or from the 144th Infantry Regiment will be arriving from the north. They landed fairly safely to the north. There was a major general, I believe his name was Hori in his last name, at least, Tomitaro, something like that. He landed 5,500 men in total. Obviously the American defenders couldn't cover all of the islands at the same time. There were some that landed on the east side to the south, some that landed further down south but to the west, and of course the ones that did land to the north together with the 5th Company will be the ones facing most of the Marine resistance on the island. So we've got 145 men that were there at the time, at least Marines. They had other Island Defense Force units, but they weren't quite the same caliber, so to speak. And I'm really excited to see how these men here, the 145 U.S. Marines that formed the company that day, or that made up a company rather, how they will do and fare against the roughly 600 to 700 Japanese soldiers that will be bearing down on their positions. I'm really excited to play this battle out, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the introduction. If you want more of these kinds of battles, then let me know and I will gladly spend the time that it does take making them. It does take quite a lot of time. It's not really like I can crank these out, so to speak, but I'm loving it, guys. Hopefully you do too. So we're not going to be controlling the Japanese today. The only thing we're going to make sure is that they get ashore. Once I have committed these 4 boats to the assault, we will be able to spawn in the other 10 at our own discretion, so to speak, and to commit them to the assault. We can dispose them differently. We can land some here to the left and to the right. This map, by the way, before I start, I wanted to thank a guy called Pershing. He helped me modify it. This is actually Huan, the map that comes with the game. But as you can tell, we've added water. It's a fairly simple maneuver, but it does take a lot of time off my chest so that I can focus on other things. And if you guys want to do mapping for me, please get in touch with me, because we can make that very, we can make some great things come through. Because mapping, I love doing it, but it takes so much time, especially when you need to edit and record and create the battles on the very same maps. So yeah, I think that's enough for the intro speech. I think we are ready to witness and watch this battle go down. I'm super excited. Without further ado, let's start the battle, and yes, I hope you guys will enjoy. Alright, we're taking command of the first wave here, of the 5th Company, 2nd Maizuru SNLF. We're going to try and bring the boats as close to shore as possible. It's not the most suitable beach landing conditions. We've got a very sort of steep beachhead. There's not a lot of shallow waters to go with here, so some men might even have to swim ashore, which would be quite unfortunate, but if it is what has to happen, then it will be so. A lot of Marines will be coming under fire, and quite some heavy fire as well, so that is very unfortunate. These men here are just being absolutely cut down. The Marines will obviously try and get their footing on the ground here, and the assault is underway. So the US defense is very spread out, so to speak. They've got some really good positions, and they've got some very well thought out defenses set up. But they're not really crowding the trenches because they have a lot of ground to cover. But I think with their marksmanship and their weaponry that they will be able to do a lot more damage than the attackers at first. They definitely need to regroup here at the beach and gain their footing, so to speak. It's really cool to see Japanese Marines in action, and especially the ones who arrive from the sea, so to speak. So the ranges and general like soldier vision in this mod is quite generous, and it does allow for some pretty realistic engagements. We did see a lot of Japanese soldiers die quite early to the American fire that they came under as they attacked, but people from the farmost left and look at the blood there on the inside of the troop carrier. That is absolutely gruesome. It just shows how many have died, and they took a lot of focused fire from the Japanese, U.S. defenders as they came up. We've got a machine gunner here laying down some fire. He's lost his ammo bearer, but I'm sure he'll be able to continue his duty. The Japanese will definitely be trying to flank around. They did land a lot of soldiers to the right. They're going to be going in to deal with some of the U.S. Marines that are holding it further back here, and we see a Browning automatic rifle in action there. He was just shot down. The other U.S. infantry will be using the M1903 Springfield, which was the standard issue bolt-action rifle that pretty much the entire U.S. Army and Navy and such used at the time. We do also have a very, very small amount of Thompson submachine guns here. The M1921 A1, I believe, with a round drum mag. I believe that this was in service. I know that it was in service, and I believe that they handed it out to few select Marines and units, so we'll see very few Thompson submachine guns. I believe it's just jammed there, so he's going to have to try and fix that on the island, which is really cool. The Japanese Marines will not be using any submachine guns in this battle here. It's really early 1941, and for now they will have to rely on the Arisaka rifles and the Type 99 LMGs, who both went under the same designation, Type 99 light machine gun and Type 99 rifle. Alright, so we've used 4 of the 14 landing crafts at our disposal. I think the Japanese assault is coming to a bit of a halt. We've got plenty of men spread out, and they're still obviously taking a lot of fire from the US defenders, but it's time that we fill up with more Japanese Marines, and these guys will have a way easier time getting onto the actual beach to commit a more powerful attack when it comes to defeating the US defenders. It's a little tricky to find some good landing spots here, because the beachhead is not overly perfect for a beach assault, so to speak. It's a very steep beach, so people who jump off too early are going to find themselves swimming ashore. But we can force up the boat. The drivers don't want to get stuck. But perfect. These guys can run straight ashore, and that looks really cool. So these boats carry around 30 Marines each. And look at the masses that we have right now. So we've got another, let's see, we've used 8 boats already, which means that we have 6 remaining. And I think we should commit those 6 boats elsewhere. Let's look at some of the fighting here. So we have US Marines engaging from a stronger position back here now. They're obviously going to be under a lot of Japanese fire. Very valiant defense here. I'm not entirely sure what the company was called or what battalion or division they came from. I believe that they could be designated to defending Guam. They perhaps did not belong to any larger units, so to speak. That they were simply just the Guam Defense Force, but US Marines in the size of a company. And the amount of Japanese attackers that is coming up now with the second wave is just gruesome. It really shows that the Japanese overcommitted to the attack on this island at the time. 5,500 men landed with a Japanese Major General, and a big part of that force was the 144th Infantry Regiment. And historians do comment, oh, here we go. We got boys from the 144th arriving now. Look at that. The regulars are coming in. Oh, that is a great thing to see. I didn't expect them to come so early, but the company commanders have been very good at mobilizing the Japanese force. I'm going to try and give you guys a good camera view. There's a lot of things going on. It's very hard to see through the palm trees, so to speak. And it's very loud right now. There's a lot of Arisaka fire. Lots of light machine gun fire as well. But it's going to be a little difficult here. You can tell the amount of bullets hitting the ground here. The US are definitely laying down a lot of fire, but they're taking quite a lot as well. We've got a Thompson submachine gunner there who's trying to lay down some suppressive fire. The defenses will get heavier the further back you get here, because heading south, you will get to Samai Barracks, which will be back here. That's where the US Marines were originally stationed. I'm super excited to see now that these Marines work together with the regular infantry there from the 144th Infantry Regiment. And as you all know, every historical battle was not fair. Of course, war isn't fair. I want to create an enjoyable experience, no matter the historical outcome. This is a game. I will try to create the historical outcome using the correct numbers and situation. But if something else happens, then I will allow that, as just the beauty of it being a game and soldiers being able to perform differently. So we now have the Marines here. This must be about one of the companies from out of the two. No, this is most likely the 200 men from the 2 companies. There's a lot of regulars on the field now. It makes the Japanese Special Naval Landing Force that just arrived, or the second wave rather, look really small. Okay, we've secured it up there. There's still men in the trenches. They've decided to duck down and lay low to try and... Oh, look at that. They're all being killed off, and we've got grenades being thrown left, right, and center. Oof, good shot there from one of the Marines. But there's going to be a lot of troops coming in on this position. If this position falls, then it's going to be to the center position here to do most of the work. They're machine guns. I love that sound. There were also Lewis guns in use during the defense of Guam. Possibly not belonging to perhaps the Marines, but rather perhaps a different part of the defense force. We're going with very historically researched and very standard issue squad layouts and equipment layouts. And as boring as it might seem, this early in the war, there were the bolt-action rifle was still the king, and of course light machine guns. Submachine guns were not being produced yet in a great numbers. Look at that. That is just absolutely insane. Okay, we're about to commit another 3 out of the remaining 6 boats. So the Japanese Marines and regulars coming up from the north now are going to be allowing a lot of these Japanese Marines to land not safely, but without taking too much fire. Got one of the boats back here that seems to be running into some issues. Let's see if we can correct that. These Marines will assault the trenches more directly. It gets shallow very quickly, so we don't want to get any of the boats stuck. But as I said, it doesn't quite look like the beaches of Normandy, where you have this smooth, steady sailing up until you reach the dry land, so to speak. Long beaches. No, that boat there is going absolutely insane. I have no idea what it's going through mentally, but I think it's just about to commit to the actual assault now. Could have been something wrong with the engines. Perhaps the steering is broken. The Japanese sailor doesn't even seem to be knowing what he's doing. So I'm going to take direct command. He looks rather confused himself. We'll for delaying and for allowing many of their comrades to be killed without their assistance, we will drive them into the danger zone, so to speak. They've been fussing around out on the seas long enough. And then we're going to get stuck into watching most of the remaining fighting go down. There we go. They could drive straight up there. Perfect. You don't have to get your feet wet. And look at the fire that they come under as they run up the beach. There's still a lot of U.S. defenders here putting down some serious fire. Look at the people. Look at them getting cut down. Machine gun fire, rifle fire. This battle is by no means decided yet, despite the show of force here from the Japanese invaders. Look at that. This platoon is about to get themselves slaughtered. And the squad commander tells them, run back, run back. We cannot hold this. The fighting is just absolutely insane right now. And I cannot wait to show you guys the casualties later on as well. So most of the action back here has been cleared up. We're just going to take a quick look and see. There isn't even any troops around here. Everyone has been... Oh, there's a few back here guarding the actual boats who look nicely laid up there. And then we've got... some more landing craft spread out over here. It's nice to see more regulars on the field now. We definitely have a lot of Marines still in action, and there's still grenades being thrown back, left, and everywhere. We've got machine gunner here and his ammo bearer. Oh, look at that. That man's head was almost shot off. Grenades are going to be thrown up. Yeah, the amount of Japanese invading the island right now is just absolutely insane. This is absolutely crazy, and the American troops are just destroying the Japanese invaders. You can tell that this will be the final hold of the U.S. troops. They are already taking casualties back here, which is quite crazy to say the least. They've got a whole line of defenders in these trenches too. To assault the beach over here would be, well, could be considered a bad decision by the SNLF. So we're not gonna portray the Japanese soldiers as poor thinkers. We are going to obviously land them where we've already established a bit of a beachhead, so to speak. And I do think it's about time to commit that final wave of soldiers from the 5th Company, 2nd Maizuru SNLF. More troop transports filled with Japanese Marines are arriving, and this will be the last wave here for the SNLF and the 5th Company, to be more precise. Look at that. Nicely done. Without giving the Japanese too much coordination, I'm going to go ahead and just designate some different landing locations for these men, because I haven't been overly fair previously. I think I could have given them some bad spots to land and step ashore at, so to speak. So we're going to have 2 boats send a lot of their troops up north, or up west actually. This would be east. If that is north, then this must be east. And to then flank around. We're not going to send too many people out here in the open. We'll send some to the, what seems to be the general rendezvous of this assault up there, and then we will continue and spectate this fight. Look at them landing nicely. So this house was the rendezvous of one, or the regrouping point of one platoon. We got another platoon heading even further west. Love the uniforms here. They're kind of green, olive green uniforms. Once they reach their regrouping zone up there by the road, they'll commence the attack. I believe there might be some US defenders up here by the... Oh, they've been shot down. All of them. Look at that. Trenches are still holding out quite nicely, though. But right now, it's a bit of a standstill. Japanese Marines and regulars are not really making all too much progress right here. We'll see if the Marines from the north can sneak in and really clean this out. So as I said, this is one of the earliest battles of the Pacific conflict, so to speak, or the war in the Pacific. After this, we could do the invasion of Wake Island. That would also be Japanese landing maneuver, so to speak. There's plenty of cool things. And I just really want to bring out more Japanese Marines in the use, and especially these beautiful landing boats. Perhaps even involve larger islands and continents, so to speak, in the Pacific theater as well. There's plenty of possibilities, as long as it's fun, as long as it's cool, as long as it's creative and foremost entertaining, of course. And as long as you guys enjoy it, then I'm willing to do anything. The defenders up here by Sumai Barracks is now starting to feel the pressure. The Japanese have this bridge to cross, which can prove to be extremely devastating to the attackers, but I think they will carry through. Right now they've cleared out the northern side of the Sumai Barracks, but they are about to head further south across this final bridge to deal with the remaining defenders. These trenches have been cleared out entirely. There's quite a lot of Americans back here, and for the purpose of realism and an enjoyable firefight, I'm going to, as the Americans probably would have by the time, redeploy the American troops facing the enemy. We don't want them facing the beaches. They're being attacked from the right flank. It only seems fit to do so. I think this way they can prove to provide a really interesting defense, and I will also be sure to, hopefully not losing all too many Americans, actually redeploying some of the machine guns. The human touch is never to be frowned upon. There we go. So now the US defenders on this side stand a bigger chance of defending themselves against the Japanese, who are just about to cross the bridge, who are actually midway doing so right now. But the casualties, the numbers, this is absolutely insane. So the Major General, that was the commander of this assault, his name was Tomitaro Hori. He was a Lieutenant General. I believe at least he was a Major General at the time of the invasion of Guam. Perhaps he was promoted afterwards. He died in New Guinea 1 year later. But they thought that the defenses on Guam were going to be greater, so they committed. So the Japanese committed more troops. The Guam had a defense rating of F, which was like, we cannot fortify it really, cannot build any defensive positions or too much. They started building the guns of Guam, but I don't think they ever finished. So the defenders really had no artillery or mortars or anything heavier in there to defend themselves with, which is quite insane when you think about it. Bit of a lost cause, so to speak. The instructions, as I said previously, were to withdraw and destroy and try and destroy all military facilities if attacked, but that didn't really work too well. Despite the fact that the aerial attack began on December 8th and the Marines were coming under heavy fire from Japanese airplanes. By the way, those airplanes came from mainland Japan because Guam was close enough. So no aircraft carrier stuff there. They still decided to fortify their positions and hold in, despite the fact that they probably knew that a land invasion was imminent. These trenches back here now are starting to put up quite a fight. We've got a corporal here in the trench, losing most of his squad. We've got a private back here. Most of the US Marines over here have been killed off. Just saw a Japanese soldier go down there as he tried to get a little too close to one of the defenders. Beautiful view here. Got one Japanese Marine moving up. I think he knows that there's a US Marine hiding behind here. He's going to throw a hand grenade, which is going to fall a little too far. And I think once this American soldier pops up... Oh, look at that. Another Japanese comrade fall. One behind. They have to back off. They're in the open. One man backs off. The other guy knows. Oh, look at that. Good shot. Private, great shot. Has to reload. Another Japanese Marine is coming around the corner. Oh, but he's saved. Another friend behind him there kills him. Keep pouring it on him, private. Keep pouring it on him. Also looking down here. Still got men alive in these trenches. Grenades being thrown. Japanese Marines are coming in. It's only a matter of time before the rest of the 144th Infantry Regiment comes bearing down south with thousands of soldiers. The defense is truly in vain, so to speak, but at least for a larger strategic goal it would be. But the oh, look at that. Sorry, I kind of lost my thought there for a second. Someone just lit up a candle to the right of me, so that distracted me. But yes, it was a valiant defense, and the casualties dealt to both sides will definitely mean something to the conflict itself. Look at that. Holding it down so well. Oh, but if you miss your shot, you have to reload. Oh, he's down. Got a few more. One more Marine alive over here. We got 2 more Marines alive over here. This is like the last stand, guys. Oh, nice shot. Oh, nice shot. Oh, he shot. Blood splattered all over his face. He's turning around to wipe his face that's just covered with his friend's blood. And he's going to stand up and he's going to be facing several Japanese rifles. And he's going to be gunned down. He's dead. The last US Marine standing will be the man down here. I wonder how many... Oh, and he's shot down back into the trench. Wow. What a crazy fight. Let's look at the mini-map. The battle is pretty much over, but let's do us all a big favor. Let's hold in V now. The Japanese casualties will be represented in red and the US casualties in yellow. And you can tell that this has been extremely disastrous. We know that the US Marines have lost their 145 defenders, but the Japanese, we're talking 3 to 4 to 5 times as many. It looks like a good 50 to probably less than 50 Japanese attackers remain out of the 600 that were committed to this sequence. Look at this. Deadly fight. Absolutely crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the introduction. I'm sorry for having been absent recently. I've taken a break. I decided I had to rethink some things, and a lot of other things were going on in life. I'm just glad that you are back. Hopefully you didn't regret clicking the video once you saw it in your subscriber feed. There's going to be more videos all this week. I've got plenty of things in store, great variety, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys soon again. Bye.